Bet you had a nice little laugh about this, huh?
What's good, people? CJ Williams for Culturalist Theory, and today we're ranking the top 10 rappers who made the pivot to acting. To keep the playing field even, we will only be counting individuals with 3 or more albums and 3 or more movie or TV roles. Sorry to the O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s and Mark Wahlbergs of the world. I don't think they'd mind anyway.
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe f*** yourself.
No extra credit for producing, directing, or writing either. This will strictly be based on acting ability, memorable performances, and longevity. Make sure you leave a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe if you're feeling the content. Number 10, Snoop Dogg. Okay, we know ability was one of the criteria, and admittedly the Snoop D-O-double-G doesn't have the best acting chops. But he checks the longevity and memorable performances boxes pretty easily. Playing himself in his acting debut, Murder Was the Case, one could argue he's been doing just that over his 20-year acting career. But with lasting impressions made in hood classics like Training Day and Baby Boy, as well as the So Bad They're Kinda Likeable Soul Plane and The Wash.
How come you ain't come help me? Come help? Oh, you didn't see them niggas pull a strap on me. Them niggas pulled a strap on you just now?
It would be a crime not to include the dog. While we wait on his official biopic directed by Alan Hughes, feel free to throw in the R-rated Prime Video Little League football film The Underdogs. Almost made us forget about Bones.
It's a trip, ain't it?
Okay, well, we said almost. Number 9, Andre 3000. A multi-talented musician, rapper, actor, and now flutist, Andre 3000 wears many hats all pretty well. While the majority of his filmography you probably haven't seen due to his work with indie projects, his talent and standout roles in bigger budget films put him on this list. Supporting roles in Semi-Pro and Be Cool.
Chop chop.
Yeah.
That boo. Player.
Are balanced by more prominent appearances in Four Brothers and Idlewild. His biggest task, however, came in 2013 when he took on the role of rock icon Jimi Hendrix in the biopic All Is By My Side. Admittedly, the film isn't that great and was a commercial failure, but his impression of the 60s legend is spot on.
Well, the gig doesn't pay that much. I mean, we're broke, but we're cool. Might as well hang out with us and be broke. And cool.
If you want a taste of his more recent work, check out the trippy AMC series Dispatches from Elsewhere. Number 8, T.I. The self-proclaimed king of the South made his transition into acting in 2005 with the coming-of-age classic ATL. While one could call that a cheat code considering the trap music MC is an Atlanta native, so the role wasn't exactly a stretch. Still, it's one of the best of its kind in the 2000s and is held in high regard within the culture. T.I.P. would go on to have more than a serviceable role in the heist film Takers.
You need to back up. Easy, Jake. It's the past. I'm here to discuss the future.
Hold his own next to cinema royalty Denzel Washington in American Gangster.
What you want? I want what you got, Uncle Frank. I want to be you.
And have laugh-out-loud moments in Ant-Man and Get Hard with Kevin Hart. It's no surprise T.I. decided to take his talents to the comedy stage. Did you see his appearance on BET Plus's Comic View? The man's got some solid comedic chops. Tap into the low-key funny The Trap with Mike Epps and DC Young Fly, as well as the RZA-directed Cutthroat City for more of his recent work. Number 7, Childish Gambino. While Donald Glover's first reoccurring acting role came during his 5-year stint on Community in 2009, and he wouldn't receive major attention musically until 2010's Cul-de-sac mixtape, it doesn't mean he wasn't trying. The actor that goes by the stage name Childish Gambino when rapping had actually been making music independently since 2005, years before his big break in Hollywood, thus his inclusion on our rapper-turned-actor list. His resume is relatively short, but it packs a punch. Community is regarded as one of the best comedy TV series of all time. His FX show Atlanta was an instant classic from season 1, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith was a top 5 series debut on Amazon Prime. Please run, don't walk to check out the latter if you slept. The potential for him to leapfrog this list is there with roles in the Star Wars saga as Lando, as well as a possible, fingers crossed, larger role for his Prowler character in the MCU.
What happened to your voice?
What do you mean, what happened to my voice?
I heard you by the bridge. I know what a girl sound like.
I'm not a girl, I'm a boy.
The sky is the ceiling, or whatever Jordan said, for Gambino, well, Glover, when it comes to the talented multi-hyphenate.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
Number 6, Lil Bow Wow. After making cameos in TV series like Moesha and The Steve Harvey Show, Shad Lil Bow Wow Moss secured his first leading role at just 15 years young and Like Mike. Mr. 106 & Park does a commendable job in the culturally relevant basketball flick, even if the special effects haven't held up as great. His second lead was in Roll Bounce, another solid kid flick. Think if ATL was in Chicago in the 70s, but much sillier. Moss would also appear in the third installment of the Fast and the Furious franchise, the Better Than You Remember Tokyo Drift. He'd reprise that same role in 2021's Fast 9, but his best movie hands down is the criminally underrated Lottery Ticket with Roll Bounce co-star Brandon T. Jackson. It's essentially a PG-13 version of Friday for a new generation. And who could forget him in Medea's Big Happy Family as Bow Wizzle made his mark on network TV as well, appearing on over 30 episodes of the CSI spinoff Cyber. While Bow doesn't have a ton of fluff in his movie catalog, his lack of a consensus classic keeps him on the outside looking in of the top 5. Number 5, Tupac. To say Tupac Shakur had an eventful 25 years on this earth would be an understatement. The rapper, activist, and actor did enough for about 5 lifetimes, including recording hundreds of songs, all while building his movie resume. Pac's dream of acting came true in '92, shortly after the release of his debut album. Making the most of the limited number of releases while he lived, you could argue he went 3 for 3, all classics between Juice, Poetic Justice, and Above the Rim. But even more intriguing is the what-ifs surrounding Pac's acting career. The Hughes brothers had the All Eyes on Me rapper tapped for another classic, Menace to Society, but was replaced due to what we'll call creative differences. John Singleton said he had the lead role for Baby Boy written for Pac to play Jody, and George Lucas had Tupac in mind for his Star Wars Phantom Menace script that he'd been working on. Samuel L. Jackson would eventually be awarded the role after Pac's passing and allegedly shaved his head to pay homage. While the 3 movies released posthumously weren't of the same caliber, although Gang Related is a solid watch, his talent was undeniable. Number 4, LL Cool J. The original hip-hop superstar Todd Smith, BKA LL Cool J, has had small roles in films going back to the late 80s. It wouldn't be until the late 90s LL would get major screen time playing someone other than himself. He'd star in the decent Halloween H2O in 1998, but 99 was his biggest and best year acting. He'd hit for the Triple Crown that year in theaters with the underrated Deep Blue Sea, hood classic In Too Deep.
You ain't no cop. You ain't no cop, Jay Reed.
And the Oliver Stone football flick Any Given Sunday. Add to that, during this run, he was in a solid TV series In the House, which ran for 5 seasons from 95 to 99. Kudos to L, because those are 4 completely different roles, and we feel his range is slept on. Add to that the rom-com delivers from Eva with Gabrielle Union, SWAT, and the Twisty Mindhunters, and you've got yourself a well-rounded resume from the GOAT. He'd return to TV for the NCIS spinoff Los Angeles for a 14-year run. We'll admit LL does have a few duds in the catalog, like the commercial flop Rollerball, but it's not enough to weigh down his filmography. Yo, do yourself a favor and run back that In Too Deep if it's been a while since you've watched. It's held up very well. Number 3, Queen Latifah. Yo, how many actors can you name that have a classic movie and classic TV show under their belt? While we wait for you to answer, let me make note because that sounds like a future list. But to briefly answer the question, not many. However, Queen Latifah is someone that can make that claim. One of the most versatile musician actors, she has a wide spectrum of roles in her resume, from bank robber to animated woolly mammoth and BMX stunt woman. Talk about range. Cleo in Set It Off is her most notable movie role within the culture, a role so gripping no matter how many times you've seen it, the ending is still hard to watch. Day after day, seems like I push against the clouds. Having several strong lead roles outside of Set It Off, by the way, please Hollywood never remake that, you can't sleep on her rom-com and musical game. Living Single is of course the aforementioned classic TV series that ran for 5 seasons in the late 90s. 20 plus years later, and she has another hit show on her hands with The Equalizer, just renewed for a 5th season. Also, as of 2023, Girls Trip 2 has been confirmed by one of the co-writers of the original, so sign us up for that. All hail the queen. Number 2, Ice Cube. Is it a reach to say that O'Shea Jackson Sr.'s movie resume is on par with his legendary music background? Right. Nah, don't look at us like that. Hear me out. He made his acting debut in the classic Boys in the Hood, and had solid supporting roles in Higher Learning, The Players Club, and The Sleeper Anaconda. Also, how many actors do you know that have pulled off the rare Hollywood triple-double, having 2 successful trilogies under his belt in Friday and Barbershop? Yes, all 6 of those are good. If there was a knock on Cube's filmography, it's that his roles are mostly relegated to comedies, although he has tried his hand at action. The sequel to the Vin Diesel box office hit XXX starred Cube and did about 1/5 the box office numbers of the original. Although we've seen much worse movies, that ridiculous speedboat scene was probably the reason for the poor reception. Either way, fair or unfair, it was the last time we saw Cube as an action leading man. No worries though, that gave him time to drop quality comedies like First Sunday, All About Them Benjamins, and the criminally underrated Janky Promoters with Mike Epps. We said we wouldn't count producing credits, but let's just say when it comes to rappers, Cube's got that on lock in Hollywood as well. With all due respect to 50 Cent. Before we get to our number 1 rapper turned actor, check out a few MCs who just missed the cut. Kid Cudi.
Good, you know, I got a little schnauzer up in the mix.
Right on.
Got some eggs in other baskets, green baskets.
Like reclaimed fabric or?
No, not at all. I sell weed on the side.
Most Def.
Ever since I've been with you, people been trying to shoot me. People you know.
Ludacris.
White people in there waiting an hour and 32 minutes for a plate of spaghetti. Huh? And how many cups of coffee did we get?
You don't drink coffee, and I didn't want any.
Number 1, Will Smith. This was an easy call, right? One of the best actors of our generation started out as the Fresh Prince with DJ and friend Jazzy Jeff. He's accomplished in both realms, owning hardware in music and film. Late 90s popcorn action staples like Bad Boys, Independence Day, and Men in Black made him a star, all while simultaneously holding down network TV on a top 5 black TV show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The Carfax isn't perfect, with 1 or 2 major missteps. Hey, it's bound to happen when you've been in Tinseltown for 3 decades. When you've saved the world a few times, played a heavyweight champion, and a dating guru all successfully, nothing but props are due. What do you think of the latest entry in the Bad Boy saga? Yo, is it time to pass the torch, or should the good times keep rolling? Yo, quick question, who out of the more recent crop of MCs do you see becoming a movie or TV star? Vince Staples? Jack Harlow maybe? Think post 2010 acts and let us know down in the comments. And clearly we can't have a rapper turned actor list without the soundtrack list on the way. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it when it drops. Until then, I'm CJ for CT. Peace.